That's right, it's time for Smackdown! Good evening, Convergence 2023. Welcome to Smackdown, dressed to Smackdown. Who's ready for some well-dressed combat? I wasn't sure if it was going to be well lit, but we've got that covered. My name is Tim. I'm going to be your host for this evening. Joining me in the back of the house, please put your hands together for our tech maven, Melissa Kirscher. Let's hear it from Melissa.
Hi. Is my mic working? Hi.
Hi, Melissa. Hi. Good to see you there.
All these years, this is the 18th Smackdown. I think this is the first time I've had full cameras on me, so nobody can hide.
What?
Now.
There's cameras on you?
There's cameras on me.
Oh my God, look at that. There's cameras on you. Wow, every year we just get more and more technically savvy, everybody.
This
is great. This is great. So, last year, if you may or may not recall, we did Smackdown because we had done 16 Smackdowns. And so we had all of the previous winners combat each other. And so this year, we didn't have that to fall back on. And the theme of the year is cosplay. And we're like, I don't know what that means. So what we have for you tonight is 16 combatants that are articles of clothing. And it was easier to come up with them than you might think. But the way this works, is there anybody out there never been to a Smackdown before? Your first Smackdown? I love that people are raising their hands in a darkened house. But it doesn't really matter. Here's the thing. The way this works is we bring a team of experts to you who will debate who would win in a fight. And their decision goes 4 votes out of 7, and it moves on to the next round. That's all there is to it, but we need to bring out some experts. And as I said, we have 7 of them here for you tonight. Some you've seen before, some who are brand new. But the first one I'm going to bring up is somebody who was here for Smackdown last year, somebody who promised they would dress up as a specific character for Smackdown this year. Let's hear it for Doug Washington. He's the Goblin King. Now our next Smackdown participant is our resident representative of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, our own rocket scientist, which this evening will not matter at all. But fortunately, she's also a master costumer. Let's hear for Bridget Landry! Bridget Landry! All right, you're going to go over on this side, just because there's 4 seats over there, and there's only 1 seat left over there. So okay, good. All right, we got it worked out. All right. Next up, somebody new, never been on Smackdown before. I don't know why it took us this long. It's probably because this year Joseph Scrimshaw didn't show up. It's Nick Glover! Let's hear it for Nick. He is joined right next to him by somebody who is always right next to him. It must be so boring for both of them. Let's hear it from Molly Glover! We have another individual with us tonight who is not at all qualified to talk about magical items of clothing, but he is a physicist. So let's hear it for Dr. Jim Kakalios. He's a doctor. He's a doctor, everybody. He's a doctor. He's a doctor. Now, the last 2 performers, the last 2 experts I'm going to introduce to you have been with Smackdown every year since the beginning, so they know their Smackdown. The first one, of course, is the only person on this stage who is older than me, I believe. It's Calvin Hadley. Let's hear it for Calvin. Let's hear it for Hadley. Let's hear it. And finally, along with Melissa and myself, the co-creator of the Smackdown experience and the co-curator of what happens here on this stage. Let's hear from Mr. Christopher Jones. All right. That's enough of a lead-in. It's time to get into Smackdown with our first two competitors. Melissa, will you show us our first round tonight? It is Batman's utility belt versus the Sorcerer's hat from the Sorcerer's Apprentice. That's right. Batman's utility belt versus the Sorcerer's hat from the Sorcerer's Apprentice. Christopher Jones, who has, I understand, drawn Batman.
A couple of times, yes.
Have you ever drawn a hat?
Yes.
Okay. So it feels like you can do this one. Let's hear what you think, Chris. Who wins in this fight?
Well, you know, I grew up with Batman from a lot of different sources, but one of the most memorable for me was, of course, the 1960s Adam West Batman TV series. And to me, the hat being worn by Mickey here, it's obviously an item of great power, but it's mysterious. You don't really know what it's going to do. He loses control of it. Everything in that utility belt is damn well labeled.
Especially the shark repellent.
I'm
right?
giving it to Batman.
Batman's
utility belt.
Not Batman, just the belt. Batman's, well, I mean, I don't know.
Yes,
Duck,
utility belt.
what do you think?
So as the person of color on the panel, I'm going to tell you that I have an aversion to people wearing pointed hats. I'm going to go with Batman.
Batman is up 2-0. Nick, your first time on the panel. What do you think?
You know, I think ultimately what it comes down to is I'm a sucker for a good print. And the Batman's utility belt, it's one color. There's not a lot of flair there. I'm not seeing any fashion. Mickey's hat, that looks like a print people would pay a premium for at Joann Fabrics. So that's a licensed print, Tim. That costs like twice as much by the yard. I'm gonna go with Mickey's hat.
Okay. The licensed print makes it 2-1. And it looks like Bridget, what do you think?
Well, you know, Batman has to follow the rules of physics, at least pay lip service to it. Mickey's hat, it's magic, so he can do anything. So I'm betting on Big Mickey.
We're betting on the magic. All right, well, what does the physicist have to say about that, Dr. Jim?
Well, initially, I agree with you in terms of the utility belt, and there's all sorts of physics. Of course, there's like tesseracts inside those little tubes, because obviously, you know, you can see that he's holding obviously a boomerang inside there and other things. But I will say that Mickey's hat is actually an excellent manifestation of quantum computers. Because instead of just one hat or one broom, you have 2 to the N hats. And so you have an exponentially more powerful ability to sweep or to
Carry water?
carry water, yes. And we all need someone to carry our water. Yes, absolutely. So I'm
Okay,
going to say Mickey.
So right now it's 3-2 in favor of Mickey's hat. Molly?
Yeah, I just gotta weigh in here because I feel like everyone's overlooking something really obvious. Only one of these is real, you guys. Mickey's a cartoon. So obviously, I mean, I've seen Batman. He's a real person. So obviously, the utility belt all the way.
Kelvin, right off the bat, we have a tie between the Sorcerer's hat and Batman's utility belt, and you have to figure it out. Old man.
Old chum.
Nick and I just want you to know we're gonna still love you no matter who you choose, buddy.
Okay, thank you.
I won't.
Okay. The Sorcerer's hat can turn brooms into like little walking guys.
Little walking brooms.
That can
Yes.
carry water. Batman's utility belt can repel sharks.
Yes.
I think that's probably more useful in a combat situation. So I'm going to go with Batman's utility belt.
Batman's utility belt! Barely surviving round 1. All right, so we're going to move on to the next pair of combatants. Melissa, show us what we have next. we have John Wick's bulletproof suit versus the 500 hats of Bartholomew Cummins. And I have to be clear because I know somebody's going to ask. Yes, all of them. Okay. Okay, Nick, why don't you start us off? Who wins?
It's 500 hats, right? I'm just doing the math. I just need to know the exact number. Is
500.
It
Yeah.
500? Let's see. How lethal is a headshot from a soft velvet hat? Oh, nothing? It's nothing at all? John Wick's suit. Please.
John Wick's suit has a 1-0 lead. But Bridget, do you have anything to say about that?
A sharp-dressed man always wins.
And by that you mean John Wick?
Yes.
Okay. Because I mean those hats are pretty nice. Chris, what do you think?
The bulletproof suit is primarily a defensive item.
Yes.
If I threw a bulletproof suit at an enemy, it's not really going to hurt him. You could smother somebody under 500 hats. I'm going with the 500 hats.
I feel like I should be making a David Carradine joke right now, but I'm not gonna. Dr. Jim, it's 2-1 John Wick's bulletproof suit.
Okay, John Wick once killed 3 people with just a pencil. But Bartholomew has 500 feathers. And if he just kills 1 person per feather, then I would have to say that Bartholomew, and I saw it on Mulberry Street, so I think that is a thing. So I'm going to go with Bartholomew.
Okay, so it's 2-all. Molly?
So the thing I learned from John Wick 4 is that there's a whole ton of these fucking suits. Everybody had one, I swear to God. No one could get shot in that movie to save their lives. So it feels like they're really easy to make. Mass-produced. Now, has anyone here ever tried to make a hat? It's real hard. They don't, and these hats, look at them. They're pretty ugly, but they're all identical. And that's impressive. That's craftsmanship. That's a handmade item. I gotta go Bartholomew Cummins hats. Look how surprised he is at the craftsmanship.
Okay. Duck.
So, my first job was working at a zoo. And as such, I'm a huge animal lover, just like John Wick is a huge lover of dogs. How many birds had to die for those 500 hats? I'm giving it to the dog lover, John Wick suit.
And once again, it falls to Kelvin to decide who wins in this battle between John Wick's bulletproof suit and the 500 hats of Bartholomew Cummins.
Okay, there's one suit, there's 500 hats, so there's like 500 possibilities that these hats could have something exceptional about them. Like one of them could be like Odd Job's hat, where it's like a metal frisbee or something. But you're still dealing, even with 500 options, it's still kind of unlikely.
Yep.
That one of them is going to be like Odd Job's hat. So I think it's got to be John Wick's.
John Wick's bulletproof suit. I don't know. I don't understand. It's every year. It just. What the actual fuck? Okay. Our next set of combatants, Melissa. It is the Sonic sunglasses versus Techno trousers. Sonic sunglasses versus Techno trousers. Dr. Jim, why don't you tell us what you think? Look at him put on those sunglasses, Jim.
Jeez. I'm not going to even go into it. The trousers.
Okay, so no explanation needed.
No.
The trousers. Molly, do you feel there's an explanation needed?
I feel like there's definitely an explanation needed for the trousers. The first one being why. I've never wished to be controlled by a pair of pants, which is why I generally stick to leggings. Just not a fan of the pants being the boss of me. But I will say that the sunglasses, the corny Scottish glee on that man's face is really off-putting. And I'm trying to figure out why he's wearing a wedding ring. Beyond that, I'm gonna go with the sunglasses.
The sunglasses.
It's just too ridiculous. And he keeps
Bridget.
doing it.
Bridget, what do you think? The trousers or the sunglasses?
The trousers are battle ready. I mean, they're armored. I definitely think the trousers are going to win.
The battle-ready trousers are up 2-1. Christopher Jones.
That's like half an Iron Man, right?
The primary use in combat of the Techno trousers would be to give them to your enemy. These are a self-destructive tool. The only way you could control them is if you had a pair of Sonic sunglasses. I'm giving it to the Sonic sunglasses.
The Sonic sunglasses were tied.
Okay, they're taking him where he doesn't want to go. They're being controlled by someone else. But Elon promises he's going to fix the software. And these self-driving pants are going to be the future on Mars.
Here's what I'm going to do. Kelvin, I'm going to make it so you don't have to make the decision.
Well, thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. So right now it's tied 2-2. Sonic sunglasses and Techno trousers.
Well, okay, the Sonic sunglasses have nice earpieces that fit nicely onto the face. I can't figure out what's holding up the Techno trousers. There's no belt, there's no suspenders. They seem really loose fitting.
Yeah, he's loose in there.
I'm really worried about his ankles.
And so I don't see how the Techno trousers actually would fit on a real person, so I'm going to go with Sonic sunglasses.
Okay, so that's... All right, Duck, it is
not
now 3-2
realistic.
in favor of the Sonic sunglasses. I don't really care who wins this one, by the way. Often I give way too many shits, but right now, either one of these are delightful. Duck, what do you think?
So I think there's a misconception going on here, and the idea is that people think the trousers aren't better because Wallace can't control them. It's not about whether Wallace would win in a fight. It's whether the trousers would win in the fight. and those things are halfway to RoboCop. I'm going the fucking trousers.
The trousers
That's a good
are
point.
halfway to
That's a good
RoboCop.
point.
Nick,
You know
somehow,
what? I forgot. Yeah.
Somehow, once again, we are at 3-all, but this time the decision is yours: sunglass or Techno trousers.
So first of all, I want to say, I really appreciate what Melissa's doing here with putting the British against the British. It's very anti-colonialist. I
she
see
knows
it.
what she's doing.
I recognize it. Kudos on that. Boy, Molly had a point where what's holding up the trousers, and it's the trousers, and then she said what's you're just kind of in there. You know what I mean? You're just kind of what's in there?
I'm
You're
not
just
sure I know what you mean by
you're
this,
just
but
you're just kind of those look hard, and you're just kind of flopping around
Like
in
when
there.
you shake a
Okay, good.
can of beans.
Like if you were ringing a bell upside down, right? But the clapper is you. And initially my response is oh, that sounds unpleasant. And then I thought about it more, and I was like, no. So I'm full trousers.
every year I think I know how this is going to go. And every year I'm wrong. All right, Melissa. What do we got now? The Cloak of Invisibility. Cloak of Invisibility?
No.
No, levitation.
That's wrong. I'll fix that.
Hold
That's
on.
levitation.
That's why Melissa's the best, because she can just fix
I'll
this
work
stuff on the
this.
fly.
Okay,
Well-
just roll with it right
We're gonna
now.
roll with it, and we'll fix it. What's it up again? The greatest American hero suit. The greatest American hero suit versus the Cloak of Levitation?
Yes.
Yeah,
It
that's
is
what I thought.
levitation.
Doctor Strange's Cloak.
Hang on.
The invisible cloak of levitation.
So
Versus
is it the name or the picture we're talking about?
we're talking about the picture.
Great.
The cloak is what we're talking about.
Yes.
Whatever it is. There it is. See, it says it's right now.
Excellent.
Duck.
I'm the
Who
best.
wins in a fight? The cloak of levitation or the greatest American hero suit?
So both of these costumes will help you fly. But only one inspires music in my soul. And believe it or not, it's the greatest American hero costume.
Never thought I could feel so free. What?
I gotta disagree.
Oh, all right. Well, then why don't you? Why
I'm
don't
going
you disagree?
to. I gotta disagree. Here's the problem: is it also inspires music in my soul. And when I was a child, I sat on a bee while I was watching this show, and I'll never forget it. I'm just telling you, I got stung. I was not wearing bottoms. I got stung right in the butt. It's not good. It's not good. So that's what I think of when I hear Greatest American Hero, Doc. Maybe it inspires confidently wonderful things for you, but not for all of us. Some of us have trauma. And I'm frankly gonna have to choose the cloak that can punch a guy on his own. Like that cloak makes little fists and does punching and strangles people. That cloak is gonna absolutely kick the clothes ass. If I remember, that costume from Greatest American Hero, be it alien or not, is just laying in a lump on the ground. It's not like a magic thing. It doesn't have its own power. It's not shaped. It's not like the green pants from that Dr. Seuss book that scared me. The
A lot of trauma.
On a wing and a prayer. Sorry. Who could the dregs Saturday night? Anyway, Bridget Landry, what do you think?
Calls that an advertisement.
Bridget.
Molly makes a good point that a cloak that can make its own fists is going to be more of an asset in a tactical situation than a passive suit. So I'm going to go with Dr. Strange's case.
Christopher Jones, we are now up 2-1 against the Greatest American Hero suit.
I grew up loving The Greatest American Hero. I love the theme music. I loved the show. This was a suit that it doesn't just let the wearer fly. It gives him super strength, super speed, invisibility, all these powers, assuming you even know how to use it. It requires an instruction manual, which he didn't have. Do you know what the Cloak of Levitation has that suit doesn't?
Attitude?
Agency.
Yes.
It chose Doctor Strange and decided to help him out and has saved his butt on many occasions. I'm giving it to the Cloak of Levitation.
All right. Cloak of the levitating cloak of invisible levitation leads 3-1. Nick, yeah.
So, all right. I'm gonna take this in a slightly different direction. If I was out on a date with, sorry, hang on. If I was,
That's better.
if I was out on a date like 17 years ago with the cloak of Doctor Strange and the one from the 80s show that 6 people remember. Again, like one of them has agency and one of them is a pile, and one of them is of earthly or like adjacently earthly origins, and the other one comes from who knows where, made out of who knows what fabric that I may or may not have allergies to. And like one of them has like, if you can make a fist, that means you can grab things. And if I'm out on a date with one of them, it's the cloak, Tim. It's the cloak.
Yeah, I figured that out. That means the winner. The levitating cloak of invisible levitation that levitates and stuff. I lied about that part. That's the winner. Moves on to our next round. What do we have up next, Melissa? The Ring of Power versus Iron Man's suit. So instead of half of Iron Man's suit, which was the trousers, we have all of Iron Man's suit. against all of Sauron's hate and desire to dominate others. Duck, how do you make this decision?
If Iron Man's suit was that great, he wouldn't need a new one every movie. I'm going with the ring.
All right, Ring of Power has one vote. Dr. Jim.
All right, if you translate what's on the ring, it actually says, for a good time.
That's physics.
Okay, and this is the version, this is the Mark 2 to the N, where N is some large number. This is the suit with nanotech. And the nanotech has, this is not just a suit of armor, this is a suit of plot armor. that can do whatever is necessary. If for no other reason and no suggestion you grab someone, suddenly the glove can rip 6 stones off of the gauntlet and just pop it onto. I've actually been challenged. I have to figure out how that worked. But giving me job security, I'm going to go with Iron Man.
Iron Man suit. We're tied. Kelvin, we haven't heard from you in a little while. What do you got to say about the Ring of Power versus Iron Man's plot armor? It says so right on the screen. That's why we got a camera on Melissa, because she works fast. And you got to keep a fucking eye on her.
Melissa Kirscher, drunk with power.
Hell yeah, I am.
I don't believe Iron Man's suit ever saw the light of the 2 trees.
You fucking nerd.
And
So, based on just that ancient history and how tied it is to the formation of Arda and all that kind of stuff, I got to go with the One Ring.
So the One Ring wins due to nerd power. Whatever. Okay, Nick, why don't you tell us who wins in a battle between the Ring of Power and Iron Man's plot armor?
Well, so one of them, Jim, you were saying for a good time call. It's important who. It matters for my answer. Is it Sauron? Because, but if it's,
I'm
But if
assuming,
it's Frodo, well, let's go.
please.
I'm assuming
Frodo,
that whoever answers the phone at
Samwise.
Bigelow 62839.
Okay.
Because, Samwise, you want someone who will hold you, who will support you, who will... Anyways. Boy, I feel like that Iron Man armor is one size fits one. And the Ring of Power is a lot more accessible option, right? I feel like if I'm thinking me, I'm not, no. And then maybe. So I'll go with the maybe. I'm gonna say the Ring of Power, even though it comes with a huge burden, at least I know I can wear it.
The Ring of Power, call me maybe. Okay. Doc, plot armor or Ring of Power?
I already said Ring of Power.
Oh, you did. I'm sorry. You were looking at me like you had something more to say. Chris.
as tempting as it is to make this about fantasy versus science, thank you.
I think you mean science.
It has been pointed out that this is the nanotech armor, which can do pretty much anything, and which means it can do anything that Tony Stark could imagine building a suit to do. You know what I think Tony Stark could build a suit to do? Survive going into the volcano at Mount Doom. Yeah. So I'm giving it to the Iron Man armor.
Oh, all right. So yeah, we're back to. I think is it 2-2 all.
I don't care.
Molly.
I say it
it's my
again.
fucking job. It's the only job I have.
So I genuinely, I have to agree, because the thing about the Iron Man armor is, due to the fact that it can do anything, I do think it would fit you, Nick. I think it can fit anybody. It's got the amazing technology. You can just put it on. But now that I think about it, why shouldn't I choose it? After all. Yes.
So now I believe
Blacked
it's 3-2, and we have Kelvin and Bridget left, right? Is that am I remembering that right?
Yeah.
Bridget, what do you think?
It's a tough call. I really don't want to vote for the One Ring. I really don't.
Well then,
But, yeah, I'm gonna go with the
The
One Ring.
One Ring, the precious wins.
its power is terrible and mighty.
The precious wins. That was what just happened, Melissa. The precious. The precious
Middle-earth
wins.
shudders.
I also bet that suit smells like pee.
Yeah.
He's a drunk. Of course it smells like
I think
pee.
that
Pee if you're
nanotech
lucky.
could clean that up.
Yeah.
Melissa, is this the last pairing in round one? Am I?
No, we've got a few more.
Oh, all right. Never mind. We got shit tons more. Okay. That's Melissa speak for no. Shut up, Tim. Get it going. Next two competitors. Let's see them. They are the Helmet of Fate
Yeah.
versus the Ruby Slippers. And Kelvin looks like this is killing him inside, so that's why he's going first.
Gee whiz. You've got like a Lord of Order there, and the ruby slippers, which were worn by Judy Garland, who is a local gal.
So it's got the local angle, like the Hams, the Hams Beer
she
Bear
was born in
did.
Minnesota. So I guess I got to go for the hometown team, and I'm going to go with the Ruby Slippers.
The Ruby Slippers get a hometown discount. Chris, how do you feel about Ruby Slippers versus the Helmet of Fate?
Ruby Slippers can protect you from the power of an evil witch, and where's the fun in that? And they can take you home, which, hello, Uber. It's the Helmet of Fate.
Helmet of Fate, because Uber cannot do what the Helmet of Fate does.
No!
Apparently.
If they could, I'd be using that app a lot more often.
Nick,
Yeah, I mean, like, to that point, though, like, so if you, like, go on Expedia or, like, whatever airfare site you use, and you're looking at flights and you want to go on vacation because, like, the pandemic is kind of cooling down a little bit, and, like, you're feeling comfortable traveling, whatever, if you look at one-way trip versus two-way trip, it's a significant financial difference, and those Ruby Slippers are a free trip home. And the other thing hijacks your consciousness, takes over your body, and uses you to act on the order of, like, lawful, like, super strict, whatever, no chaos. I feel like the options are give away your control as a sentient being to the powers of fate, or cheaper airfare. Ruby Slippers. I'm going to Hawaii.
They don't want you to come.
I'm going to somewhere other than Hawaii.
okay, how about Bridget? Bridget, what do you think? Helmet of Fate, Ruby. So the Ruby Slippers are ahead, 2-1 at this point.
Yeah, but they have very limited powers, and not really. They're not an offensive weapon. They're a defensive weapon.
Man,
so
they're definitely not offensive. They look very nice.
they are styling. I
Yeah.
give you that. But I think in a battle to the death, that I got to go with the helmet.
In a battle to the death, the Helmet of Fate would win.
Absolutely.
In theory, because it's now 2-2. Duck?
So I was really digging what Nick was saying a moment ago about the Fate helmet actually taking over your body like it was the Supreme Court of the United States. And so, as a person who obviously likes sequins, I'm going to go with the slipper.
The sequins. So the Slippers are up 3-2. Dr. Jim, what do you think about that?
reading reprints of the Golden Age comics, not being that old. Dr. Fate always seemed to have, like, he could do anything and there was no limitations and things like that. And that's definitely what I would like.
Because of wishful thinking.
Yeah, well, I mean, and, you know, too much blood has been spilled over the ruby slippers.
There wasn't any blood, she just melted.
No, well,
The other one shriveled up like a Nazi.
Dorothy goes to this strange new land and kills the first person she sees.
Yeah.
Right? And
It
then
was
she
an accident.
And then she joins up with another group of people to kill again.
It sounds
Okay.
like the actions of somebody
I'm
who would
going
win in a fight. I don't know.
I don't really have a dog in this fight, but
The
let's not.
hell
I
of
mean,
fate.
Dorothy could not. It was an accident.
I mean,
Molly,
yes.
it's 3-all.
Yes.
Ruby Slippers or Helmet of Fate.
I've watched a lot of Young Justice, and the Helmet of Fate is fucking terrifying. We're gonna go with the Ruby Slippers.
The Ruby Slippers! In what is probably what one might consider our first upset of the evening, the Ruby Slippers click 3 times and say, "There's no place like round 2." And on they go, where they might face the winner of the next match, which is the Green Lantern Ring versus the Power Loader from AIS. Okay, a couple of literal heavy hitters. Because there's a bat and that, yeah. Nick, who wins?
So, like, on the one hand, like, I'm a big guy and I'm tall and I'm really good at lifting heavy, big things. But on the other hand, like, I don't have a lot of willpower.
Oh my God.
So, like, you know, like, oh, I could do more of what I already do pretty well. Or maybe if my antidepressants are working and I'm in a good mood and I've had enough caffeine and I have the executive function to accomplish something, I might have the willpower to make a pen to write the thing that's already late. No, I'm gonna go with the Power Loader.
The Power Loader because of depression. Okay. Dr. Jim, Green Lantern Ring or Power Loader?
This is actually a true story.
This really happened?
I was giving a talk in Brazil invited by the State Department to do this, and I was asked what superhero would best represent, not Brazil, excuse me, it was Portugal. But it's the same language. Which superhero would best represent Portugal? And I tried to be diplomatic, and I'm trying to give an answer that is realistic. And it suddenly occurred to me, so this was my best, the one time I was under pressure and I came up with something. I said, Green Lantern, because he has a ring that can create anything, limited only by his imagination and willpower. And Portugal can create anything, limited only by their imagination and willpower. And that got me out of so much hot water that I have to go with Green Lantern.
And that's why we're not in the middle of World War III. So thank you, Dr. Jim. Thank you, Dr. Jim. It's tied 1-all. Molly.
So this comes down to one very simple fact for me. The Green Lantern Corps are basically cops. ACAB, the Power Loader.
It's tough to argue against. Chris?
I really like Ripley, and I really hate Portugal. So the Power Loader.
The Power Loader leads the Green Lantern Ring 3-1, Kelvin.
The Power Loader is yellow. It's the Power Loader.
The Power Loader wins! That is strike 3 for the Green Lantern Ring. Power Loader wins. Next round, we need to have power loader in Portuguese. Power loader. Okay, and up next, is this our final matchup of?
This is our final matchup.
It is the Infinity Gauntlet
That's so
versus the Mask.
The mask itself, not the movie, right?
Yeah, just the mask. It is the article of clothing, not the Jim Carrey. So,
He's just gonna keep saying.
Duck.
So, I gotta tell you that gauntlet is so goddamn functional. Like there's not only is it a great looking accessory, but like you can like he only took out half of the life in the universe because he only asked to take out half of the life of the universe. I can't imagine that this green mask has any power to counteract all of the things that the Infinity Gauntlet can do. I'm going Infinity Gauntlet.
Okay. I mean, it seems like this should be over in a snap, but we'll see what's going to happen. Chris?
I really like Jim Carrey.
What?
And I really hate Portugal. But purely on the playing field of comic book-based movie franchises, this battle has been fought and won by the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Okay. Infinity Gauntlet up 2-0. Kelvin.
I was just thinking about what if, like, the Infinity Gauntlet put on the mask, and I got so horrified.
Rule 34, Calvin.
God, what a thought. Well, it would still be the Infinity Gauntlet running the show in that scenario, so Infinity Gauntlet.
Okay, the Infinity Gauntlet is up 3-0. Nick.
So, all right. I get that the Infinity Gauntlet has, the stones that basically control all the various elements of reality itself, and thus you have total command over reality itself. But the mask operates on cartoon logic and cartoon physics, which are extra reality. And so, I feel like you'd go to snap the Infinity Gauntlet, and then whoever has the mask would be there in a hat with lots of fruit on it, doing a sexy dance, and you'd get distracted, and then they'd take the gauntlet from you. Or they would do something paint, Wile E. Coyote style, paint a tunnel, and you'd go to snap, and then you'd run into the wall of the tunnel, and you get got by cartoon physics. I feel like every example we have of reality physics, whether they're exceptional or not, versus cartoon physics always wins, and the mask operates on cartoon physics.
That's interesting that you bring up physics as we go to 3-1. It seems like we really need to talk to a physicist now. And wouldn't you know, we have one.
That's Dr. Nerd. Nerd is my father.
This is my favorite place to shout.
I don't know. I kind of like an all-powerful device that you can use more than once and doesn't burn your arm out when you use it. So I'm going to go with the mask.
The mask is staging a remarkable comeback. But is it going to continue? Bridget, what do you think?
Especially in this incarnation, the cartoon gauntlet is just, it's adorable, and it's pretty powerful, and I think I'm just going to have to go with the gauntlet.
All right, the gauntlet wins. And that means we have finished with the first bracket, and it's time for the lightning round. go really quickly through every single one of our experts in this lightning round, which pits Cinna from the Hunger Games versus Edna Mode. Cinna versus Edna Mode. Very quickly, we're going to go right down. Chris, who wins, Cinna versus Edna Mode?
I don't like the no capes rule, but I honestly don't know who Cinna is, so Edna Mode.
Edna Mode because of ignorance. Kelvin.
Big glasses can see the field of battle better, Edna Mode.
Edna Mode because she's corrected her eyesight. Molly.
I read books. Cinna.
Cinna because books.
At least one
Nick.
book.
So, I mean, like, just, I know what Edna Mode wears, and I've read the books, but, like, look how that shirt fits. Cinna. Sorry, Cinna.
Tied. Duck, Cinna, or Edna Mode?
Lenny Kravitz asks, "Are you gonna go my way?" And the answer is nope, Edna.
Bridget.
Oh, come on. Edna is so much more powerful. I gotta go with Edna.
Edna, all right. Dr. Jim?
Edna.
Edna Mode wins the lightning round.
Cinna would break her like a twig.
We really, this is the only one that we were disappointed we couldn't put into the main round was Edna Mode, but she's not an article of clothing. She only makes them.
Yeah,
So, all right, we're moving into the semifinal, no, sorry, the quarterfinals of Smackdown. And we have Batman's utility belt versus John Wick's bulletproof suit. All right. Giving him a minute to think about it, but I think we got to go with the Batman expert first, with Chris.
Among the many weapons in Batman's arsenal would be ones allowing for gas-based attacks. A bulletproof suit isn't going to help you against gas-based attacks. And at this point, I'm going to take one more opportunity to say gas-based attacks. Screw Portugal, Batman's utility belt.
Okay, so we got one vote for the utility belt. Duck.
All right, so when I saw The Batman, when it came out last year, there was a scene where that Batman suit got shot like 80 times, and it didn't affect Robert Pattinson at all. The belt is a part of that suit, hence the belt is part of a bulletproof suit. Plus, it has a bunch of other stuff other than being bulletproof. I'm going with the utility belt.
Okay, the utility belt is up. It's doing well. Bridget, what do you think? The bulletproof suit or Batman's utility belt?
You know, in two ways, I have to go with Batman because one, the cartoon physics, I feel you there, and two, offensive versus defensive. Go with the belt.
All right. Batman's utility belt leads 3-0. Molly, is it going to be 4-0? Is this just a complete Smackdown?
Only one of these two competitors is something that a billionaire can wear and not be found out for who they really are. It's Batman's belt.
Batman's belt wins 4-0.
Oh, okay. It's meaningless the more you do it.
Batman's belt wins 4-0. And before we move on to our next pairing, I'm just going to say Minnesota Fringe Festival, John Wick by Tim Wick, no relation, coming in a couple of, just next month. At Theater in the Round.
You
Okay.
think it's a joke, but he's not.
No,
kidding.
I'm not kidding. That's the show. John Wick by Tim Wick, no relation. Okay. Next up, we have the Techno Trousers versus the levitating cloak of levitation that levitates. It's a lot of levitation. Kelvin.
I think the levitating cloak of levitation that levitates could wear the Techno trousers. But I don't know if the Techno trousers could wear the levitating cloak of levitation that levitates because it doesn't have shoulders.
Right on.
So I gotta go with the Techno trousers.
Techno Trousers because it doesn't have shoulders.
Hell, man.
Molly.
So we've got two annoying pieces of clothing that have a sense of humor. Like really, that's what we got going on here. So it's a very equal footing. I really appreciate this matchup, Melissa. Thank you. I do think that when it came down to a fight, the Cloak has more moves. The Trousers have one move. Left leg, right leg, left leg, right leg. That's all it knows how to do. I mean, it's possible it could give a kick here or there, but that's really just left leg, right leg elevated.
Yeah.
Honestly, the Cloak can move on all three axes, and I think that's going to be the absolute game changer in a fight. I mean, it's going to be able to get in the trouts. Kelvin already pointed this out. I think we're good. I think we got to go with the Cloak.
The Cloak,
Yep.
due to
The Cloak
three-dimensional thinking.
Yes.
Okay.
The Z-axis, Tim, the Z-axis.
Speaking of Star Trek, Bridget, what do you think?
You know, I again, armor versus a wussy little cloak. Yeah, I'm going with the trousers.
Wussy little Cloak. Okay. The Techno trousers win because the Cloak is, quote, wussy. Duck.
I'm gonna mess everything up because I think you get these two competitors in the ring, and they're just gonna realize that they complement each other really well, and the two of them will combine to form a new outfit, the Levitating Trouser. That's where I'm going. I don't think the fight happens. I think they team up.
Ooh.
It turns into the Mecha Levitating Cloak. Just give Melissa 5 minutes. But anyway, Chris,
Unhelpful.
I don't even know who's ahead
Let's talk
anymore.
about finishing details. We have like so painted rivets. Rivets.
Do you know how hard it is to put those rivets in?
No.
As compared to this astonishing embroidery on the Cloak of Levitation. And can we talk about the underlying asymmetrical design? Just on style points, I have to give it to the Cloak of Levitation.
Okay. So that gives us a tie with one abstention, which means that we could end up with a tie and we're screwed. Molly, what do you
Thanks,
think?
Duck.
I already went.
Oh,
It's gonna have to be
Nick.
me, I think.
So much pressure. All right. So, like, as has been pointed out, they're both semi-sentient, but like the Cloak seems to have your best interest at heart, right? Like the Cloak is like in this GIF alone. GIF is like, you know, it's like you got some dirt on your cheek type of a thing. It's a caretaker. It's a nurturer, right? But those trousers are a force of chaos, and they might not have your best interest at heart, and that is hot. And so
We're learning a lot here tonight.
And so, I feel like the trousers is like, that's a story you're gonna tell your friends later. The cloak, you're gonna be like, yeah, there was a cloak, it was, you know, whatever. But like the trousers, that's the bar, that's gonna get you some drinks at the bar, trousers.
you know, what did not occur to me is this is the closest thing we have to a Muppet. Dr. Jim, it is 3-2 in favor of the trousers. What do you think?
I've been staring at this and reading Wallace's lips, which painstakingly were moved, and he's saying stop, stop, no, and the trousers are not listening. Whereas the cloak, you tell it, don't let him close his fist, do this, do that, go after this. You don't even have to tell the cloak. It knows how to, you know, to catch you or do whatever else. I'm going with the cloak.
Tim?
Can we agree that the operative phrase there was "and do whatever else"?
Yeah,
I have Cargill on the black phone here for you.
Tim, as hot as like the trousers are, and they are super hot, I won't hear otherwise. Consent is key. I'd like to change my vote.
Well, I was going to let Melissa decide, but never mind. The
Unless,
levitating cloak of levitation, the levitation wins. Sorry, Melissa, you're going to have to go another year without making a decision.
Not a single one.
All right, next up, The Precious versus Manslaughter Slippers.
But the slippers didn't kill her. She killed her with a house.
So what's your
That's why
opinion?
it's
Which
manslaughter.
slaughter?
Again, we're back to defensive versus offensive. I gotta go with the ring.
The ring, because of offense. All right, Kelvin.
The ring is yellow.
Which has nothing to do with the slippers. They're not Green Lantern slippers.
Gold is more valuable than rubies, I think. So I'm gonna go with the ring.
Sure, because it's precious. Duck, I'm giving you another chance.
Okay, good. I think that the key element here is the journey that happens with these items and the parties that are attending those journeys. Like, so with the ruby red slippers, you get Dorothy and you get Toto and the Tin Man and the Scarecrow and the Cowardly Lion, which are great. They come along with, but they're not a my axe and my sword and my bow. Like, I think that the ring has better equipped traveling companions, so I'm going to give it to the ring.
A better entourage? Is that it?
So the ring is currently up 3-0. You could have also, I should point out though that one of the members accompanying the Ruby Slippers has the same hairdo as you. So
That's true.
I don't think you should have discounted that. But nonetheless, Molly, what do you think?
Well, let me just ask you this, Tim, because maybe I'm not so clear on the Wizard of Oz, but do the ruby slippers in the darkness bind them?
You know, I'm not
Yeah, they don't. So I feel like if you need darkness bound, which you're probably going to need happening sometimes, only the One Ring can do that. Ruby slippers take me home. My mom is there. Like, there's a whole lot of baggage there. I'm just saying. I love her, but like, home's a complicated concept for a lot of us, and I think ultimate power that makes me a little bit of a shithead is okay. The One Ring.
And the Precious moves on to the semifinals. Then we move on to our final final pairing, which is in Portuguese, Carregado de Energia Terrible versus the Infinity Gauntlet. I don't think this is as cut and dried as the Infinity Gauntlet's last opponent. Chris, you got to help us out.
I just came to a horrifying realization. I'm a little terrified to even speak it out loud. I was thinking about how adorable that Infinity Gauntlet is, and the animation style kind of reminded me of something. It looks a little bit like Steven Universe.
Yeah.
Which made me really worry about what those stones are.
Those stones are a conversation.
Are the crystal gems? I want the loader to win. Because I want the gauntlet to go away.
The loader, Chris says, wins under very interesting circumstances. Bridget, it's a...
I gotta go with the power lifter just because you do not mess with a pissed off woman.
That's true. Now, what if the alien queen was wearing the never mind. Nick.
So, like 25 years ago or whatever, a million years ago, I had this friend, Bjorn, who was maybe here, maybe out at the smoking area, who was like 8 at the time, who hopped up on my feet and put his little hands in my like giant adult person hands and was like, "You're my exoskeleton." And we walked around the room, and then he was like, "Oh, let's go over here where my mom is." And like, okay. And we walked over to the other room where his mom is, and he goes, hang on, move your arm. And so I moved my arm like this, and he goes, "Get away from her, you bitch!" at 8 years old.
To his mom.
Old enough to drink here, which makes me feel super old. And I just feel like that special emotional attachment alone is reason enough for me to pick the power armor over the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, you want, that's good. So we're leading 3-1. I'm just gonna, 3-0, I'm just gonna say, you wanna feel really old. Convergence 1999. My wife, who's back at the tech table back there, hi honey. Yeah, she was pregnant with this kid right over here.
Oh, that adult man?
That 23-year-old. You want to know how many years the convention's been around? I think of my oldest son and add one.
Oh, Tim, I said old, not ancient.
Oh, shit. Yeah, that's Calvin. All right. Duck, it's 3-0 in favor of the Portuguese power loader.
It's a tough one because both of these things are yellow. But I have to say that Republicans have been calling me a freeloader for a really long time. And I'm proud of who I am, damn it. And I think I could take the gauntlet. I'm going freeloader.
The power loader!
Yeah!
Because, you know, if you snapped, you'd still have half the loader, and that would still be pretty badass.
That's true.
When you think of, anyway, the power loader wins. We're going to move on, but we have one more lightning round. Or do we do the semifinal and then the lightning round, Melissa?
Yeah, we'll do it right now.
We're going to do the lightning round.
Wait,
All right.
we need to do this first.
Okay.
Oh my God,
So-
my panties fell off.
Our competitors in lightning round number 2 are Buffalo Bill Suit. Versus There was a point when we were considering what we were going to do that we were like, oh, we shouldn't do that.
But we did.
Unfortunately, we did not listen. So it's a lightning round. We're going to go right down the row. Dr. Jim, who wins, Buffalo Bill Suit or Egger Suit?
Pass.
Bridget?
Egger suit.
Egger Suit. Egger Suit. Duck?
Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me. Buffalo Bill Suit.
1-1, Nick.
Tim, look, this is my first Smackdown, and I didn't know this.
You never know.
I brought emergency Malort to punish myself just in case this was too bad, and you're gonna make me do this if this is what I have in store. But oh boy, Tim. Egger Suit, I guess, because I like sugar.
Egger Suit. Molly.
What are you, about a size 16? Buffalo Bill Suit.
Buffalo Bill Suit is
Oh,
too
it's
off.
the craftsmanship again.
Kelvin.
The Buffalo Bill suit has lotion on it. It's probably a lot more supple and hydrated and all that. So I'm gonna go with Buffalo Bill suit.
Edgar doesn't
All
use
right.
lotion. Look at him.
Chris, it's 3-2, and we have one pass, which means if you vote for Egger Suit, it's a tie.
Well, then I'm going to say, first of all, this is a matchup between the police captain from Monk and Kingpin. Just throwing it out there. And Melissa gets to make a decision this year because I'm giving it to Edgar.
It's tied. Melissa, that means for the first time ever, you get to determine who wins the lightning round.
Oh, God.
You did this to yourself.
Now you know what it feels like for them.
I believe the expression is hoisted on your own petard.
Dear audience, I was the one who pushed for this. So
Yes, you
this
did.
is my
This is-
Karma's a bitch, isn't it?
yeah.
I wouldn't brag about it.
I got to go with the tailoring. Buffalo Bill.
Buffalo Bill wins. There's a lot more tailoring in Buffalo Bill's suit. All right, we move on to the
God,
semifinals
look at
and then the
that.
finals.
That's a good prop.
Our first match in the semifinals is Batman's utility belt versus the levitating cloak of levitation that levitates. All right, Kelvin.
Well, I was going to say Batman's belt is doing a pretty good job of levitating right there. But it does need the assistance of the boots. And the levitating cloak of levitation that levitates doesn't need any boots. So let's go with the cloak.
All right, the boot-free cloak. Chris.
This has come down to DC versus Marvel,
Yes. Yes, it has.
and it has come down to income. And over the years, I've gotten a lot more work from DC than from Marvel. So I'm giving it to Batman's utility belt.
I mean, I'm just saying, if you voted for Marvel, maybe you'd get more work. Molly.
They had their chance.
Conversely, I have gotten more work from Marvel, so unfortunately, I think I'm gonna have to go with the levitating cloak of levitation that definitely levitates.
Oh,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah. Marvel dagger out now.
Bridget, it's 2-1. Levitating cloak of levitation that levitates.
Well, now it's 3-1 because the cloak is a buddy. So yeah.
All right, we're just going with the cloak. It's 3-1. Dr. Jim.
The cloak was written by one of the guests of honor of Convergence, Robert Cargill. And so, as a fan of Convergence, I would say the cloak.
The cloak wins.
That's right. If you don't like the cloak, you hate Convergence.
Now I find this next one very interesting. This next semifinal match, it is the Precious versus the Power Loader, which I must point out has already beaten one ring. Not that that means anything. I just thought it was interesting. Duck.
Man, it's hard because they're both yellow.
It's the joke that keeps on giving.
Like, I feel like the ring is really good at persuading the wearer to do its bidding. But since the loader isn't really a person, I don't know that it has power over the loader, and it seems like it's perfectly built for tossing a ring in a volcano. I'm going with the loader.
Fascinating. It's a good point, but I don't care. Nick.
Tim, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
If I wear the power loader, how many ring wraiths hunt me relentlessly until I die?
If I'm doing my math correctly, and you can check me on this if you could, Melissa, I think it's 0.
Okay. I'd like a physicist to check our math.
Dr. Jim.
If
Dr.
we wear
Jim.
the power loader, how many ring wraiths will chase us until we die?
Carry the one.
Yes. It's exactly 0.
0.
Point
You don't get
0.
that from a scientist very often.
Yeah, that's good because I'm gonna go with the power loader for sure. Because I don't need my non-existent soul corrupted by the personification of evil and the atom bomb.
All right, Duck. What do you think?
Oh, I said.
Oh, you did.
loader.
Yeah, I know. It's late. I'm tired. Chris.
Ripley had used similar equipment before, but not exactly a power loader, and she hopped right into it and was able to use it pretty well. I'm assuming it's fairly intuitive, controls clearly marked. The One Ring has instructions on it in a language I can't read. I think from a user-friendliness point of view. Wait, let me check before I give my answer. Does any one of these have a connection to Portugal? Screw it, I'm giving it to the power loader.
The power loader leads 3-0. Kelvin. least they're now both Portuguese. Leonardo Poder.
I had an anel de poder once.
Okay.
Hurt a lot.
I don't know if that means the One Ring or Precious.
Okay. You wear a ring on your finger. The power loader only has 4 fingers, and they're big, fat fingers that you couldn't actually put a ring on. So I think that's a remarkable level of defense on the power loader's part. So the power loader.
The power loader wins. The One Ring goes down into the volcano and melts. That's it. So we're up to the final. This is the final. This is it, folks. This is it for Smackdown. It is down to. I know what they are, but I'm waiting for the picture. The levitating cloak of levitation that absolutely, definitely levitates versus something in Portuguese I can't pronounce. Do Ripley, the power loader. All right, Molly.
So
Who
one
wins?
time I had to play Fallout 4. And I got in the armor, and then all of a sudden I died. And it's because there was a Deathclaw behind me, and I couldn't turn around in the armor fast enough to also get the Deathclaw. I see some nods, so I'm not alone out there. I'm just gonna say, I think the Cloak of Levitation has a lot more on the Z-axis. But also, it's less cumbersome, it's more nimble in general. I think it could wrap around. If it got in front of the glass, it could blind anybody who's using the power loader. Honestly, again, it has agency. It doesn't need anyone to use it. If there's not someone in the power loader, it's just kind of like the Iron Giant when he's sad. I gotta go with the Cloak.
It's interesting that you bring up the three-dimensional aspect when the cloak is being worn by somebody who played Khan.
That's right.
Duck.
Well, I think that the Cloak of Levitation could have an advantage if it had power, if it had teamed up with the Mecha Trousers. But as it stands, the power loader is yellow. I'm going with the power loader.
1-1. Nick.
I need to rely on my homeboy Google Translate for this one. And much in the line of what Chris has been saying so far. Now a armadura de powder, which is to say, not the power armor. In Portuguese.
Kind of.
So,
Kind of. In Portuguese, if you are an ignorant white person who only speaks English trying to speak Portuguese from Google Translate. That is to say, not the power armor.
So you're
Google.
saying the Cloak of Levitation.
That's the one.
All right, 2-1 for the Cloak of Levitation, Chris.
I have grown tired of all this anti-Portugal hate.
That you instigated.
I think we need to move beyond that kind of backwards thinking. I will say this. If there was a movie in which Sigourney Weaver, wearing the power loader, also then put on the Cloak of Levitation and flew around, I would go see that movie in a heartbeat. But I gotta give it to the power loader.
The power loader, which is now translated into, I believe that's Icelandic. Fine, Chris, whatever. Bridget, we're tied up.
Yeah, I for sheer utility and multiple uses, I gotta go with the power armor. Besides the whole not voting against pissed off bitches.
By voting for the power loader, aren't you actually voting against the pissed off Never mind. I don't understand. It's fine. It's fine. We're 3-2, Dr. Jim. So you have two choices. You can vote for the power loader and give the win, or you vote for the levitating cloak of levitation that absolutely, definitely levitates and force Kelvin to make the final decision. But you can do whatever you want. Because this is science.
Kelvin, I'm waiting. This is a really awesome responsibility.
It is.
It is. It is. And I think that there are some people who could not handle this pressure. And there are some people who might crack or just find it too debilitating. So I'm going to be greatly amused to see how Kelvin does.
It is a gleefully manufactured tie.
You sons of bitches.
It's now been translated into, I believe that's Svengalese. And you need to decide who wins. The levitating cloak of levitation that absolutely, definitely levitates, or the yellow power loader.
Okay, well, the power loader is a cold, unfeeling machine, but the levitating cloak of levitation has cares. It dries Doctor Strange's tears. It's got heart. And if you look at all the great fighters in history, they were all guys who had heart. So it's the cloak of levitation.
The cloak of levitation wins. Boy, I thought Ripley was going to take it, but that's our winner. The levitating cloak of levitation that absolutely, definitely levitates. That is Smackdown for 2023, but we won't be back next year. Do we know what we're doing? Oh, the Battle of the Bands.
Oh, shit.
That's right, folks. I finally have a dog in this fight. We'll see you next year. Good night, everybody.
Great job, y'all.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't want to step on whatever.